Hello and welcome to the academyofworship.org YouTube channel. My name's Chris, and if you're new here, I want to invite you first to subscribe so you can check out all the new videos that I put out. I try to put a new one out every week. So what are we talking about today? Well, today I wanted to cover something that's related to the last video I put out, which was talking about two-note chords that you can put over worship music. And I talked about some music theory that we didn't get too deep into, and I'm not going to today as well. My goal here on this channel isn't to inundate you with a whole bunch of music theory jargon or anything like that, but I do want to empower you and give you the information you need to be able to function on a musical team, whether that's in a church setting or elsewhere. All the information I'm going to give you is useful. So today we're going to be expanding upon the idea of chords, and specifically we're going to be talking about a numbering system that's commonly used in music. Sometimes it's called the Nashville Numbers system. There's other variations on that name, and I'm not giving you the full Nashville numbering system here today, but I'm going to give you some really hopefully helpful things you can use when you're talking to other people, or when they're talking to you, you understand what they mean. Today's not going to involve a guitar. I'm not going to be playing anything. It's just talking. So if that doesn't interest you, I guess you can cut away now. Or if this is old hat for you and it's nothing that you could use, click on over to another video. We have plenty. But if you're kind of new to this scene, or maybe you just want to make sure that what you understand is correct, then stay tuned. This is my high-tech board of notes. Hopefully this fits in camera. It's pretty big. Last time I used a notepad and it didn't look that great, so I thought I'd go bigger. So as you can see, I have just a musical staff here. We have the C major scale going from C up to C again. And this is the treble clef. I just didn't want to write the treble symbol because I'm lazy. And underneath these, you're going to see some numbers. That's all there is to it. See ya. No, I'm just kidding. What we're talking about is the relationship between these numbers and the notes corresponding to a scale. Today, just to make it simple and clean, I use the C major scale, but this applies to any major scale. So when you're in the key of A, you'll start on A, you'll go to B, C, you get it. Or if you're in E, start on E, right? There's going to be key signatures involved and things like that. But again, to make it simple today, just sticking with C major. Let's say you're playing a worship song in the key of C, and someone calls for the 4 chord. You're not super familiar with the way this is set up, then that may not make a lot of sense to you. But if you're used to the way this is set up, you'll know that the 4 chord in C is F. And you'll notice that these Roman numerals line up with that. That's all they're calling out, is the number chord that's based off of the major scale of the key that you're playing. So in last week's video, we had a lot of things in E major, and we talked about how each one of these has a major and minor chord associated with it. In this case, I didn't do lowercase. I should have. Sue me. You guys can comment below and yell at me. That's fine. For instance, we know that the 1 chord is a major chord, so it would be C major based on the 1 chord. The 2 chord, we know from last week's video, is a minor chord, so we know that this D here, if they call the 2 chord, you know that that D chord is going to be D minor. We know that the 3 chord is also minor, so that E chord is going to be an E minor chord. This F is going to be major, so F major is the 4 chord. The 5 chord is the G major, because we know that the 5 chord is also major, and so on. So when you're playing music with a group or another person and they call out a chord, you'll know what they're talking about in the key that you're in. That's all this is, and that's really all that you need to know. You just need to know that the 2nd chord and the 3rd chord are minor, and that the 6th chord here, so this A would also be minor, and this B is that diminished chord that we talked about last week. To be honest with you, the majority of the chords you're going to run into when you're playing modern worship music, or even modern rock and roll or any other kind of music, is going to be the 1, the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 6. Those are the most common chords in a lot of American music or popular pop music or whatever you want to call it. But it's good to know how to structure this out if you ever need to do it. This isn't going to be a super long video because I just wanted to delve into how this all works. Because if you're already playing worship music and you've heard these terms, hopefully this gives you a visual representation of what we're talking about. So that's it. There's not much to it. It's pretty simplistic, but if you've never really had a lesson on it or you've never seen it, it may be a concept that's foreign to you. I hope that that super high-tech graphic that I used cleared it up for you. And I hope that you can go to your next rehearsal or next band performance or whatever you're doing, and when someone calls these things out, you'll start knowing what they're talking about. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Go forth and make music. God bless.